So you've got a website, right? The goal is pretty simple. You want people to find your page, love what they see, and actually stick around. But what happens if they click, take one quick look, and immediately hit the back button? Well, that's a huge problem for your search rankings. In this explainer, we're going to break down what's causing this and, more importantly, exactly how you can fix it. To really get what we're talking about, let's start with this scenario I'm sure we've all been in. Imagine you're just looking for a simple recipe online, say for vegan pancakes. You see a link that looks perfect right at the top of the search results. You click it, and you're expecting to see, a list of ingredients.
But instead of a recipe, you're hit with a giant wall of text. It's this long personal story about someone's childhood memories of pancakes, then a pop-up ad for newsletter, another ad blinking in the sidebar, and the actual recipe is just nowhere in sight.
So what do? You don't even think about it, right? You hit that back button and immediately click on the very next search result, just hoping for a better, faster answer. That little move, that instinctive reaction, is at the absolute heart of what we're talking about today. That behavior actually has a name in the world of SEO, and it's a really critical one to understand. It's called pogo sticking.
Pogo sticking is that exact sequence we just talked about. A user clicks from a search result to your page, they're not happy with what they see, and they immediately go right back to the search page to click a different link. It's a crystal clear signal to the search engine that your page just didn't deliver.
Now, you might be thinking, wait, isn't that just a bounce rate? And that's a great question. But no, it's different, and honestly, it's a lot worse. A bounce just means someone left after seeing one page. Hey, they could have found exactly what they needed. But pogo sticking is always a negative signal. It specifically tells search engines the user left your page to keep searching for a better answer somewhere else. And that negative signal is a huge deal. Why? Because search engines like Google are completely obsessed with user satisfaction. So when they see people pogo sticking away from your site over and over, you can bet they're paying very close attention. Here's how they see it. They measure how users engage through clicks. A short click is when a user lands on your page and almost instantly returns to the search results. That screams low satisfaction. A long click, on the other hand, is where the user stays and doesn't come back. That signals high satisfaction. But the real trophy, the holy grail, is the last longest click. That's when the user's entire search session ends on your page. That tells Google, mission accomplished, problem solved. To put it really simply, a good click means the user's search is over. It ends on your page. A bad click sends them right back to the drawing board, back to Google. And if your site collects too many of these bad clicks over time, search engines will notice and your rankings are going to feel it. Okay, so why are users pogo sticking away from your site in the first place? Well, it usually comes down to a few core problems. Let's break down the most common causes so you can start to diagnose your own pages. This one is the big one. It's the most common reason by far. If a user lands on your page and they can't find what they're looking for above the fold, before they even have to scroll, they're probably going to leave. You could have the best answer in the world on that page, but if it's buried under long intros, ads, or just a bunch of clutter, most people just won't stick around to dig for it. The second major cause is what's often called thin content. Imagine you search for how to reset a smart thermostat, and you land on a page that just gives you two super basic steps with no pictures or details. That's an incomplete answer. A frustrated user is going to hit that back button in a heartbeat to find a real guide that actually solves their problem from start to finish. And finally, trust is absolutely huge. A visitor might leave instantly if your site just looks, well, sketchy. This could be because the design looks like it's from 1999, there's no author info, there are typos everywhere, or the links in your footer are broken. Even if your information is solid, a lack of credibility is a major red flag that sends people running. Okay, enough with the problems, let's talk about the solutions. The good news is this is fixable. Here are 4 proven, actionable ways you can stop pogo sticking and actually keep your visitors happy. It all really comes down to these 4 key principles. Number 1, show them the answer right up front. 2, build instant trust the second they land on the page. 3, make your content incredibly easy to skim. And finally, number 4, make sure your page actually delivers on the promise you made in your title. Let's go back to that frustrating recipe blog. The fix is so simple and so effective. Just add a skip to recipe link right at the very top of the page. This shows you respect the user's time and gives them what they want immediately. And you can still keep your personal story further down the page for anyone who's interested. It's a win-win. And this same idea applies everywhere. If you're writing product reviews, put a simple pros and cons summary right at the top. For a technical guide, start with a numbered list of the steps. And if you're a local business, your hours and location should be the very first thing a visitor sees. No question. These are small changes with a massive impact. All right, now it's time to apply all of this to your own work. You can do a quick check to see if you might have a Pogo sticking problem hiding in your website's analytics. So when you're digging into your website data, look for pages that have a really short average time on page. Now, if those same pages also have a high bounce rate and they aren't ranking very well in search, that's a huge red flag. Also, take a look at your comments or user feedback. See if anyone is saying they couldn't find what they were looking for. But in the end, it all comes down to this one simple question. Go to one of your most important pages and try to look at it with fresh eyes, like you've never seen it before. And be honest with yourself. Does this page immediately solve the user's problem, or does it make them work for it? If it's the latter, you know exactly what you need to fix. So ask yourself, would you stay or would you hit back?
We'll never stop. We take your dreams, give them the spark.